Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is me, Dukect T, back with you once again here live on TalkShoe.com. Well, we have some stuff. I was going to talk a little about some wrestling stuff, but I'll save that to next week. If you look on the Talk Shoe schedule, I'm going to be talking about NXT in a full entirety of what I think is wrong with NXT. I'm going to be talking about that to next week. I'm going to be talking about that because there are some things I have to get off my chest about NXT and why it's not going to, why it's not really selling. Okay. What else? Oh gosh. Goodness, I'm looking at some things on Twitter, looking at NXT. Well, Valentine Dream's back, so we're gonna talk about that next week. But tonight we're gonna talk about a recent article that came this week. Yesterday actually. Yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. Cliff Bleszinski, one man who was behind Unreal Tournament, Gears of War, and his game pretty much before he left the game industry, LawBreakers. He wants to talk about this. He wants to give his thoughts of why this game did not sell, why this game did not connect with the people. And the reason why, and here is his article on his post on his Instagram, and I'll put a link to the Instagram as well. I don't even use Instagram. All I use is Twitter, and that was it. All I used was Twitter, Facebook. I barely even use Instagram, but the link will be there. But it's also in the article itself. He said, he's thinking about what he could have done different at Boss Key. What could he have done different? And he said, he says, well, one thing was when Blizzard own team-based shooter Overwatch was announced. He says, quote, he said, easy ideas might have been to pivot hard when Blizzard's own team-based shooter Overwatch was announced, or he could have been more of a dictator with his ideas for Lawbreakers. He remarked, but perhaps the biggest revelation for Bleszinski, the article continues, written by Eddie Marcox. I can't pronounce the names. I apologize. He says the biggest thing is he regrets getting political. That's right. He blames getting woke. He says, quote, and his whole statement right here says, ever since the studio's holds, I've been racking my brain of what I could have done differently. Pivot hard when the judgment of Overwatch was announced. Been less nice with my design ideas and more of a dictator with them. One big epiphany was that I pushed my own personal politics in a world that was increasingly divided. Instead of the story being this game looks neat, it became this game with the woke bro trying to push his hackney politics on us with gender-neutral bathrooms. Instead of these characters seeming fun, it was this studio with the CEO who refuses to make his female characters sexier. Instead of who am I going to choose, it became white dude shoehorns diversity in his game and smells his own smug farts in interviews. Instead of letting the product speak for itself. Well, honestly, I would say none of that, because I never even heard of this game. No, seriously, I barely hear anything about LawBreakers at all when it was being hyped up or any, because I heard of Overwatch and such, but people who were into that team-based shooter thing barely heard of it. And the marketing showed. I think the reason why he put that in there is because he wanted attention. He didn't care about all this stuff. He didn't care about all these, we're going to try to make things woke. Oh, we're going to try to do all this other stuff. No, he didn't care about any of that. In fact, he called this his in the article at Shaq News right here. This is 2007. The link here. The link will be in the description of this article. He does Lawbreakers. Get this. You remember this old meme? It's coming back. He dubbed it the Dark Souls of competitive first-person shooters. Oh, that meme that, oh gosh, I was so tired of. That fun meme that everybody came out like, well, this thing is going to be new. Had a minimum of difficulty equals the next Dark Souls, which is hilarious to me because going back in time, I mean, it's like everyone who plays Dark Souls never play any of the old school NES games. I'm serious. I guarantee you these young folk, the kids today, had to play some NES games. They didn't know what to do. I played Double Dragon for an hour and they will lose their goddamn minds. But yeah, this I saw what he's trying to do with this whole the hackneyed, all this other stuff. It meant nothing. It had nothing. It had. Here's what it when it released. It didn't have any rank or deathmatch months, lackluster game modes, bland characters, nothing to actually connect with the people. Now he's blaming woke stuff. In fact, I didn't even notice and by the way, if he tried to put this woke stuff into the game, is it going to help or hurt anything? It just seemed like he was trying to get attention for trying to get, like, I'm better at everybody, yay! No. The reason why your game failed, it was completely lackluster, boring, and, well, not marketed right. You could say this was the Dark Souls, but Dark Souls has, like, gameplay. It's compelling. It's something people want to go continue to play over and over again. What the hell is Lawbreakers and such? I mean, it's just, and here's the thing. The funny thing about this, ladies and gentlemen, the crazy thing about all of this is that you had stuff this way. You had this. You had a game that came out of nowhere like last year in Apex Legends by the same people who made Respawn Entertainment. The same people who made the first decent Star Wars game in the dog's age. Who actually made the Titanfall series. I need to go play the Titanfall 2 because I think that's actually good and people seem to really like it. Even though there is no I thought there was going to be a TV show or something, but I'm like, I remember that thing back a couple years ago. I was like, I first heard about that. I was like, why in the world would there be a TV show about this type of show, about this game? The cost of it alone would basically break the bank. I mean, unless it was funded by Netflix or whatever. I don't know why anyone would actually make a television show about this with a game that had little to no story. Now back to the point, but Titanfall 2 was had the story mode and people loved it. But then they had Apex Legends. It came out of nowhere. It didn't really have any type of hype whatsoever. I don't remember it. It just came out of nowhere. And then boom, it showed up and it was a battle royale fan. It was a live service, free to play battle, and people loved it. People actually liked it so much that it's now an esport. It has won multiple awards. It is actually, again, connected with people and such. Meanwhile, Lawbreakers, what did that game? Yeah, Lawbreakers. Let's see, what did that game get? Let's see. What happened to Lawbreakers? Let's see. By the way, what is the law? About what was the story? There was no story, I believe. It just, it had some decent reviews, but didn't get a player base. It was according to Wikipedia, it said only the closed beta peaked at 7,500 players, and then it opened them up later with open beta with 40% less players. And the game launched with 60% lower player base since the beta peak and launch outside of the Steam top 100 most played games. Yeah. He said the PS4 was doing PS4 version was there, but he didn't name any type of number. So yeah, that take that with a grain of salt. And then like 2 years ago, on September 14th, 2018, it was shut down. And then it was removed from Steam and no longer available for purchase. You can't buy it. It's like there is no way it was. There was like it got some positive reception, but no one bought it and no one cared. It's because I guarantee you it was because of, again, it was just. I think it was just. No one really cared. It was just, they didn't really do the game justice, and that's why no one cared. But here, the people behind, Respawn Entertainment, Apex Legends, they did it right. They actually did these things right. They actually, made a free-to-play battle royale game that's actually fun and engaging. And, again, I have no dog in this fight. I don't play any of these battle royale. I mean, I do play one Tetris 99, but I don't think that's. Would you call that a battle royale game? I don't know. Maybe, probably, but who knows? But at this point, Cliffy B's trying to save himself. He's trying to make himself look. Oh, he's trying to do something good. Oh, he's trying to be something. But yeah, the LawBreakers, Cliffy B again trying to just try to cover his own tracks without taking any personal responsibility of his action, not only his actions, but the way his game failed. It's not because of what I did; it was because I put woke stuff in this stuff, non-gender bathrooms and everything else, things that won't even impact the game. Which is, again, it didn't even do anything. It's just. I can't stand this stuff. I cannot stand this type of stupidity. I can't stand this type of, oh, look, we're trying to be. No. But yeah, it's frustrating, ladies and gentlemen. It's frustrating to see people who just won't take the, some responsibility from themselves. He tries to fake it, but no, it was the things around the game. It didn't sell because it didn't have a connection with the audience. It didn't have a connection with the audience. It wasn't because you put woke stuff in there. It was because you didn't have an audience at all. That's the truth, man. Take your responsibility and then move on. Gosh. And don't call something Dark Souls. By the way, anyone who's doing this stuff, and hopefully I haven't heard this before, this comparison along. So hopefully people have stopped this. But I am happy that this game is so hard. It is the Dark Souls. X game is so hard that it equals Dark Souls. I am so happy that thing has pretty much died out. And if it hasn't, please don't show me or talk to me about that. Please, I don't want to see it anymore. Please, for me, for everyone else. I don't want that comparison to happen again. All right? Okay? That's good. That's awesome. But until then, well, they still have to deal with it. But deal with that type of that meme, which will probably come back at sometime in another form when the next Dark Souls comes out. Dark Souls 3 or Dark Souls 4 is the Dark Souls of the Dark Souls. Well, just gotta roll with it. Anyway, though, Cliffy B, though, don't blame everyone. Don't blame the woke stuff. Blame your stuff, man. Blame the fact that you didn't really have a connection with the people. But that's just me. So, yeah. Anyway, we're going to take a small little breakity break. We're right back, and we're going to talk about, Google Stadia, and, it's not doing so well. I mean, it wasn't doing well to begin with, and now it's just we have there is a another competitor is going to the throne. So we're gonna be talking about that right after this here on TalkShoe.com. Thank you for listening to me, Dukect. Be right back right after this here on the Dukect Lounge live on TalkShoe.com. And you also see the video portions on Freaking Awesome Network, Man Expression, YouTube.com/Dukect, and BitChute. And the recorded podcast version will be on Podbean and everything else. So again, thanks so much for listening. We'll be right back right after this.